here, we're going to talk about the proper safety procedures using the table router. The table router is just simply a router that's connected to the table. Our router is located right at the bottom of our tables right here. They screw into the proper designation, the proper holes in this situation, and it's ready to be used. We typically use table routers to make certain detail cuts, certain wider cuts that we necessarily can't do with the chop saw and with the table saw. Setting up the table router, the first thing you have to do is adjust your fence to the proper depth accordingly. Now this one's already pre-set up, so what I would actually do in this situation is I would actually unlock the fence in these two spots here. I would take a ruler to actually have edged off so that it zeroes right on the very end. And I set the ruler up, and I just would tap the fence back until it's at the thickness that I want it to go, and then I lock everything down in place. Afterwards, I then take the board I'm going to cut and line it up, and I'll take this piece right here. This blue board right here is called our feather board. We call it that because there's little fingers on the end that kind of look like feathers. This helps hold the board in place. We will unlock it and adjust this accordingly. Some routers do not come with feather boards, so in that situation there, after you make your adjustments, just make sure your hands stay away from the blade as it's spinning. Some routers also come with a special hose connected so that when you're using this, you actually can plug your shop vac into the router so that it collects all the dust that's being shaved off as it's happening. Okay? Other routers tend to not have this, so actually create a specially little dust collector that can be hooked up to one of our shop vacs in the lab, and basically the same process is working here. How this works out is the board you're going to plan on cutting, you're going to put up against the fence, again flat on the table, okay? Make sure it stays there the entire time as you're working. The feather board allows it access to that, allows it to hold in place so that you don't have to always keep two hands on. When you're working, you actually can let one hand go and shift it over to the other side so that you keep it tight on both sides as it's working through. But for the most part, basically this acts as a third hand for you when you're working. After everything's set up, what you want to do is you're going to reach down below and you're going to turn on the switch. The router bits typically can spin at a minimum 3,000 RPM, okay? That means it's 60 rotations per second, okay? So even a 1 second delay, a 1 second mistake can cause major injury. So make sure you're paying attention to your hands the entire time. After you turn the router on, you want to turn your shop vac on. Now everything's set up, so when I'm making my cut, all that dust can go right into my shop vac. I'm going to take my board now and I'm going to feed it from the right side to the left side, okay? If this spins counterclockwise, so feeding it this way is to make sure it's going to make the cuts I need to make. Now, as you guys saw right there, I fed it through twice. Okay, the first time I did it was to make the main initial cut. The second time I did it is to give it that nice little, to clean up the edge to make sure everything is ready to work with. All right. Now again, there's also different router bits that can make decorative cuts as well. So this router right over here has one of those decorative bits. So I'm actually going to disconnect my shop vac here. Plug it in on this side. Make sure everything's plugged in here. And now I'm going to be ready to work here. Okay, so I'm going to do a demonstration with this router too. Again, this doesn't have the feather board. So if I'm using this one, I'm just going to keep my hands away the whole time as I'm using it. Okay, again, as long as you don't make sure your hands are not physically touching the bit there, you should be fine. A little switch over here. And as I said, you can make nice little decorative cuts with the routers as well. So that's our information on the router and how to properly, safely use it. Looking forward to seeing all the stuff you make. Have a good day.